Hello everyone, today we're going to be creating the scrolling and death effect. So by the end of this series, you should have something that looks like this. Yeah, so this is going to be pretty easy, so let's get started. First, what I'm going to do is re-download the resources because they were changed from the last part. And the first thing I'm going to do is upload the player sprite. So upload sprite, geometry dash, and go through these folders. I don't know why they were there. And upload the player, and delete this cat sprite, and go to costumes, choose a costume, upload costume, and this time choose hitbox. So this is just a circle the same size as the player. Next, I'm going to upload the background. Choose a sprite, upload sprite, background. Over here, I'm going to set the X to 0 and the Y to 0, and choose a sprite, upload sprite, ground. I'm going to make this in the center as well. Upload sprite to ground shine, and put this in the center. Now let's go back to this player. When green flag clicked, broadcasts message 1. I'm going to click the down arrow and press new message and call this setup, and then scroll down to control and drag out a forever loop and click on variables. I'm just going to, instead of deleting this, I'm just going to rename this to state, all capital, and go to control and drag out if else, and go to operators and drag out equals, and in the last input we're going to type in play, and in the first one just go to variables and drag out the state variable, and just right click on this and press duplicate and just snap it down into the else part down here, and I'm going to call this one dead, and then over here go to control, events, broadcast message 1 and wait, and change it to broadcast update and wait. Now let's start to do the scrolling. Drag out when I receive message 1 and change it to update. Go to variables, make a new variable, call this scroll X, all capital again, and I'm just gonna hide it by clicking this blue check mark, and then make another variable called speed. Press OK and hide this. I'm going to change scroll X by speed times -1. Switch costume to hitbox, and then switch costume to player. And we're going to have a little bit of code in between these two blocks. We're going to add that later. Okay, now let's click on the ground sprite when I receive updates. Go to X0, Y0, and click on variables, make a new variable for this sprite only. Make sure to click on that and call it ID. It doesn't have to be all capital this time because it's only for this sprite. Then go to operators and drag out the mod block and drag out the multiplied block, and go to variables and drag out ID, put that in the last one, scroll X, put that in the first one, and here just type 1. When green flag clicked, set ID to 480, create clone of myself, and I'm just going to right click, press duplicate, and put this down below. So now we have 2 copies. And this time I'm going to set ID to -480. Now let's go to the background. Background code is going to be almost the same as the ground. So just go back to the ground and drag the code onto the background sprite, and it should copy. And I'm going to change this one right here to 0.2. Click on our player sprite and go to my blocks, make a new block, and call this one reset, And this is just going to be a block where we reset everything back to normal after we die or before we start. I'm going to set scroll X to 0 and set speed to 7. You can change that later, but for now that's going to be easy speed for you to get to the level. And also set state to play, and make sure that the play here is exactly as you type it here, or else it will not play. Drag out when I receive setup, repeat 1, delete this clone. That's just to delete any clones that the player might have created, and then reset. So let's press the green flag here, and you'll see that now the background and the ground should be scrolling. The last thing we're going to do for this tutorial is drag out show, switch costume to player, and go to -150 on the X and -60 on the Y, and also go to front layer. And I'm going to organize these. I like to organize things. So now you should see the player in front.